Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, I'm going to talk about Nvidia RTX 4000. So let's dive right into it. Now, this is just an announcement, not a launch. So it's just like hype on top of hype. So it's like the next big thing, better than ever again, common basic iPhone language. Now, it does have Nvidia DLSS3, which is basically AI based frame interpolation, meaning you're gonna core FPS would be the same, but AI will inject frames in between. Now, the reason why you want to do it using AI rather than just normal algorithms is that AI can actually predict how the frame will change to some extent, not to 100%. Nobody is expecting this to work on, let's say, CSGO or games that are capable of actually going at high FPS. You don't want it there. But games that are cinematic and employ certain levels of love to it, scene-wise, could really benefit from this. Again, wait before we making a purchase. It does have hardware level AV1 encoding. Now that is a very desirable thing. It's the next big thing that is slowly becoming a mainstream thing. Think of this like, if you are old enough, you must have remembered like back in the CD DVD era, the DVD players that were recent that started to come with like with H246 encoder, H265 encoders, those sort of thing. So it's like AV1 is the next generation. Now H264 became popular, but H264 5 did not become that important, and 6.6 rarely was adopted. Simply reason for that, there was a lot of penalty and payment you have to make. But AV1 is kind of open source, so it's becoming backbone of entirety of web. So it's a very important codex. Now, it does have super high clock speed. What has actually changed that a common person can understand? Think of this, the speed, the RPM of this puppy went YOLO. So you're talking about RTX 4080 can go up to 2.5 gigahertz. That's fast. That's like damn fast. Like, I'm not even that old, but I remember when graphics card actually crossed 1 gigahertz, it was like, whoa, whoa. This puppy crossed that 2 gigahertz mark with enough margin that's like, it's not like, oh, a little bit overclocking. If it has headroom, it will rush 2.1. No, this is 2.5. That's like GG. Like, that was a really good improvement. And lower variant can easily achieve 2.6. That's fast. And you have a GDDR6X variant of 24GB, 16GB, and 12GB. These are the three SKUs that are available at this point in time. Now, let's come to the painful side. The price is just stupid. It's just raw stupid. I'm not even gonna bother with dollar numbers, because in Indian rupees, that's 1.56 lakhs. That's the price of a good bike. 1.16 lakhs. That's still very expensive. The thing that does not cross that 1 lakh mark is 87,000. This is idiotically expensive. Like, at this price point is reaching a point where people might be like, you know what, I'm good. Like, people buy a whole computer for 1.56 lakhs. Like, actually, to be fair, you can make computer under 1 lakh, but this sort of price is just stupid. Like, at some point, it just becomes stupid. It's like, if somebody is like asking you like $1 million for a pen, most likely you're not gonna buy it. It's reaching that territory. So what about the performance? Now, they are claiming 2x better in most situations. That's what they are claiming. And we will not know unless we have actual hands-on review, so be calm about it. However, you have to understand the painful reality is that you need ATX 3.0 power supply, especially if you want to buy higher end cards. Meaning power supplies have a ATX association to it. Like, how do you have ATX motherboard? The same thing, association also creates a spec sheet for power supply. That does get updated time to time. Like, that's why we used to have Molex connector, that was one. Then we get to Stata connector, that was variant 2. This is one where they're adding a data link in power supply. Now, this data link is not a very advanced data link. It's just a data link to talk to equipments and say, bro, only 600. Just that's all it is there. Like, it's almost like how electric cars, that charging point, especially AC level 2 charging point, all it does is just tell, bro, my circuit is for 16 amps. Don't draw more than that. So something similar is here, where it's like, bro, 400 watts. Don't draw more than that. Nothing else. Now, all that magic hula lala is happening on PCI 5.0. I have no idea why the heck it's called PCI 5.0, but that's what it's called. It's 12 volt HPWR, basically 12 volt high power rail. And you will see, like, that's the only thing that has been changed. So every other connector, basically your CPU connector or a GPU connector, all of the GPU, I'm saying, basically accessories connectors, they will remain more or less exactly the same. But this PCI 5.0 connector, it is the only one that gets that data link. Now, that data link is a rudimentary data link. It's not gonna, like, do handshake and dynamically adjust power. It's not a laptop's power supply system, but all it does is talk to your GPU before it goes to full boot power draw mode, where it's like, bro, me only 400 watts. So understand this thoroughly. Only 400 watts. This rail, like let's say, you can only deliver 200 watts. So do not draw more than that. Now you're like, what if I put a very high power GPU in there? Again, most GPU can easily downclock themselves very aggressively, very easily. Like they're like, bro, I can work at very low power. That's why that's why we have a dynamic power throttle. So it does work. So having this sort of communication with power supply gives them a safety net where there's like, I get it. You like, again, you may have a scenario where the power supply may dynamically adjust it. Let's say your CPU and other accessories that you have put drawing too much power. It's like, whoa, bro, I think power envelope is there. Again, I don't think it's that smart yet, but time will tell. Now the plug is not good. Like whoever come up with this plug is genuinely a stupid electrical engineer. It's like, dude, you built a plug that's supposed to handle upwards of 650 watts of power, 600 continuous watt, and the plug melts. Who came up with that? It's like somebody is like, I'm building this power draw, power drill that is running on universal motor. That is ludicrously weird in rush spike. And like, yeah, the plug only can be used for 30 times. You're like, dude, how high are you? It's like 30 cycle is too goddamn low. Like we went from Malice, that was not really good, reliable connector. We went to SATA. And that was reliable. That was like, I got this. You can even hot swap with that. So I was expecting something like that. It's like, hey, we are going from something. And again, this sort of GPUs are being used in a server industry. So hot swapping would be a GG server. And again, software does support software data link on PCI 5.0, hot swapping that as feasible to do. So having a power plug that can do that, that would be awesome. But like, you literally created a plug that is inferior than what you are replacing. How the heck that passed any engineers? Like, you know what, this is a good thing. Sir, the older one is bigger, but it's far more robust. It can last 100 cycle. You're reducing. It's like, who came up with this joke? It's like, genuinely, who came up with this joke? And dumb adapters that will be sold with like, Mark 1 products, it's risky. Why it's risky? Well, think of this. I have power supply, Corsair power supply, high quality power supply, awesome. Modular power supply, super awesome. But here's the deal. The power supply manufacturer would have been designed on ATX 2.0. Now, ATX 2.0 have certain room. So that room could be like, hey, for GPU, have a rail that supplies power to the GPU, and I think it should, give 250 watts. Now, let's say manufacturer is like, I think power supplies are consuming, have a bit more headroom. How about I give it 300 watt? But here's the deal. Now you're drawing 600 watt on single GPU, so you do not have parallel links. You have one link that is, trying to merge two links properly. Again, unless there is a smart communication, it cannot be done properly, and consequently, you will have wire melting. So this sort of dumb connection, you're hoping that the 600 watt will be distributed between 150 watt plugs. How are you sure about that? No, you can't, because there is no data communication. You're just hoping that power rails are equally divided. But what happens if, let's say, power is like not 600, not full out, like all cables are full out. Only one cable is going full out because power draw dropped to that point, and now that cable is under danger of overheating. So it's really risky to sell this sort of dumb adapters, like genuinely risky. Again, not that big of a risk for low power cards, but power cards that are like 600 watt capable, this sort of thing is dangerous. Even if you have a power supply that is like, 2000 watt rated, like it's flat out risky because there is no handshake there. And power rails, unless designed for ATX 3.0 structure, does not have that internal oomph to handle it. That's why we need that 12V HP WR. That's why we need it. Like somebody design it properly. It's like, bro, I get it. GPUs are consuming stupid amounts of power. Let's have like a power rail which can dump 800 watt alone without affecting anything else. So that's why you need to upgrade power supply, specifically if you are going for 4090 or even 4080 16GB variants. Especially if you want to go with like, aftermarket variant which have higher overclocking capability. You need this. So that's the one thing. And 650, upwards of 650 watts for single GPU is just stupid. It's like at some point it just becomes, bro, it's stupid. Like I'm running my whole computer in less than that. And still, even if you can afford a high-end GPU, even if you can afford to fork that kind of cost, if you're burning that kind of power, that's like your air conditioner. Like, wait a minute, isn't air conditioner like, 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatts? Here's the deal. It does not run at 2 kilowatts all the time. Your GPU will if you are doing anything with it all the time. It's like playing games, even playing games for as long as like 4 hours, which is, I'm very very conservative. For gamers, 4 hours is like, bro, what the hell? Like, I know friends who are doing a full-time job, then they are playing 4-hour games. So in those scenarios, this will hurt your bank balance, meaning your electric will be so high. Germans will be like, nope, their electric bills are stupid high. So this is really, really bad. So, and you're saying you have 2x performance. Your power bill also went up. Like, did you actually went 2x up, or you're just like put 2 of it? So it's really uncomfortable, like requiring a whole new power supply. And who came up with this plug design? Now, to be fair, I think it's from Intel. This is just stupid. And again, if from Nvidia's point of view, if the power supply was not there, this should have reached market first before Nvidia should have switched to it. They're like, okay, at 4,000 we're gonna like, still trust the old system. Again, the connectors would become huge, but that's doable, safe. And then they were like, okay, in the next generation we're gonna use this. Now you, at that point in time, the power supply would have been reached the market. So that is something very iffy. It's just stupid. So a lot of people are very angry at Nvidia, and there is a feel of malice here. Now, why that feel is coming? They're claiming that they have improved performance per watt. They're claiming it's like Lovelace is so much better. It's like this is 2x power improvement. Your thermal envelope also went 2x up. That's not performance per watt. You just figure out how to run the things faster. There is no actual improvement. Like on their graph, on their system, it's like, yeah, it's awesome. It's like, not really. Not really. Like flat out, you're increasing power draw to a stupid level, and not to mention 450 watt to 600 watt without overclocking capabilities. Some cards can go that high just out of, like, unless you do anything to it, you will exceed that power limit. Meaning, if you try to actually custom overclock it, you can easily cook beyond that. So coolers, basically all the graphics cooler, all of them are like around 4 slots, all of them. Like they will say, oh, 3.15. Again, you can't put half thing in other slots. So you have to have 4 slots. And there's the place where you put NVMe SSD. So if that SSD have basically any heat sink, you'll be stuck. So it's just stupid. It's like drawing that kind of power. All the cooler, just look at the cooler. Don't, if you are not sure about the TDP, just look at the cooler. So all the coolers are stupidly huge. Nobody is even trying to make a cheap coolers. It's like, dude, it's just so much power hungry. And trolling public with 480 naming convention, that's just wrong. That's just wrong, because whenever you say VRAM option in the name, as in like 480 16GB, 480 12GB, people are expecting you are just changing the VRAM. What you're doing is basically having a 470, and you're just like, what if we F the public? What if we F the public? So you're like, 4070 people will not pay that much. Claim it 4080, but say it's 12GB variant. Here's the deal, the core has changed. How significantly? You went from 9,000 CUDA cores to 7,000. That's a significant change. It's like, and you are like, oh no, it's better. Again, it does not matter. If you are using this naming convention, you're trolling on naming convention. That's the problem. It's like the naming convention, when you have the GBs there, it simply means the only thing changing from this GB to this GB is the GB itself. You're going from 16 to 12. That's it. Not the core changing. And here's the deal. The RAM is 16GB. 16GB, awesome. 12GB, awesome. No, like it works. Here's the deal. 256-bit bus, 192-bit bus. Not only you have less RAM, you also have slower RAM on a slower core. Dude, this is RTX 470 that they renamed it. Like again, they want to give you the illusions. Everybody is gonna benchmark 480 16GB, and you're gonna go to shop 480 16GB is really good. 480 is really good. What people gonna say? People gonna say 480 is good, and you're like, I can't afford the 16GB. 12GB, I will buy that. Again, this is something even Samsung mobile phone does, especially on mid-range. They'll have like 3 variants. So like has 4GB RAM, 6GB RAM, 8GB RAM. All the reviewers get 8GB RAM, and the people are like, whoa, this is awesome. And the marketing does say starting at this price, the moment you buy it, it's like a 4GB variant. It's garbage compared to 8GB variant. And that same thing is happening here. It's like, it's just wrong. Like not only you have less RAM, you have slower RAM, and the core is also compromised. Just 480. Like this, at this point in time, this is some like marketing genius is like, I'm gonna F the public. Oh yeah. This is just stupid. And what about the pricing, the grand total level, the fact that they are putting 1,16,000, that's a lot. Like that's a car level kind of money, second-hand car. That's a lot. This is cartel level prices basically. But to be fair, I do not blame Nvidia for this. This is our own stupidity, because when scalping started to happen, the first person who agreed to buy graphics card, like old graphics card at this sort of price, they gave Nvidia the green light. Hey, I'm stupid. Even for a device that is not worth anything, again, here's the deal. You buy a car, you use it for 5+ years. You as a motorcycle, you can buy it a very good motorbike at that price. You will use it for years. You buy a graphics card, you will throw it away next year or 2 years from that. So buying something that is like short-lived with that kind of money is just not good enough. It's like buying a mobile phone, unless you are GG rich. That's a different thing. But here's the, apparently way too many people are way too desperate. I know people are not that rich. The whole economy is not in good position. So people are not that rich. It's just that the desperation showed Nvidia is like, hey, we can just YOLO the price to whatever level we want, and people will buy it. So that's, again, that I do not blame Nvidia for. That is our fault. But this RAM trolling, that is Nvidia's fault. And like increasing the power limit just to show, like, say na, dude, hey, we have the similar kind of power, but our platform efficiency went up, like what AMD did with Ryzen 3000 versus Ryzen 5000. Nothing changed that much, but the efficiency went up so much. They're like, hey, 150 watt, awesome. 150 watt, GG. Same at 150 watt, they went like double the performance. Not double, but you get the point. They could have done that. It's like, this is just stupid, because again, you have to pay for the electric bill. So what about Intel and AMD? Now again, the whole world is feeling the lack of it, but this is a very good time. And AMD kind of had a good moment in the scalping war, simply because Nvidia is the one that was getting scalped first. So people started to buy AMD, and AMD sold a lot more compared to what they would have sold in the past. So that was really good for them. And this is a second opportunity, because Nvidia is pricing themselves up to a point where it's like just stupid. People might be like, you know what, I'll just buy AMD, because again, if your whole budget is consumed by the GPU, what the hell you gonna do with other things? Will you buy a very crappy motherboard, hyper crappy CPU? Like, you have to spend money on those also. So this is a very good window of opportunity for AMD to just release something price competitive. And AMD is actually good in that department. Not great, but good. So world is going through recession. So at this point in time, this is absolute, this is reality. First we had pandemic destroy us, then we had Putin destroying us. So flat out high-end market is not growing, meaning the amount of people who can just like, GG money, there are very few. And now again, we do get an illusion that there are so many simply because of YouTube, Instagram and all that jazz, but they are not that many. Let's be very clear, there are not that many. So that market is shrinking, and the recession is making sure that people are like, how about I don't buy this? How about I just take a chill pill? So all this is absolute reality. The amount of people who can afford this sort of idiotically overpriced cards, there are very few. Now AMD has a very good shot at here if they take care of two vectors. Vector number one, price to performance. They're really good, but not great. But if this time they're like, make it very aggressive, they can like just market share. They're like whoosh, whole market share. And board power. The board power is a very critical aspect. If RDNA 3 is like, hey, how about I give you a graphics card that is only 200 watts? Whoa, people are like, whoa, I don't have to upgrade my basically power supply unit. And in my case, even if I can buy a power supply unit that can provide that kind of power, I have an issue that I live in a place that does not have good power. So I have an inverter that is around 1.6 kilowatt. Then it gives APS-C UPS that is around 800 watts. Again, inverter does not regulate the voltage, so dirty voltage goes in. My UPS does regulate the voltage, so I'm limited to that UPS capacity. I cannot put anything like 800 watts, 1200 watt power supply. It's like my UPS is like, pah. So fundamentally, board power, if somebody limits that, and again, there is so much opportunity in 200 watts with modern architecture. If somebody just goes on that, it's like, hey, I'm not going to make the latest and greatest. I'm not going to make the highest, flashiest thing. I'm going to make something sensible. Price to performance, good. Board power, really good. The whole computer price, GG. At that point in time, AMD has really good share. And not to mention, people are buying AMD processor. They are buying AMD motherboards. AMD motherboard as in like the chipset motherboard. So they have very good shot if they focus on these two vector rather than going on the high end, which they have not succeeded so far. They just like price to performance, shut up and take my money. Board power, shut up and take my money. So that's for AMD. What about Intel? Now Intel arc is kind of a bit behind because AV1 in codex, again, for many people is just like shut up and take my money. If they would have released the product so far, they would have succeeded, but right now they are late. But given how badly Nvidia is pissing off people, AMD will sell, Intel will also sell. So if Intel is really specifically low board powers, that's what they are focusing on, and it's a really good niche where they're like each company is going more power. They're like, hey, no power supply, 75 watt under, it works on 75. Again, if all you are doing is light workload, more than good enough. Shut up and take my money. And if all you are doing is video encoding, and these have hardware level video decoding systems, GG. So there is a very good opportunity even for Intel, specifically for low power market. Because you may say, oh, not everybody has power bill. So they're like, hey, 75 watt, shut up and take my money. It can do every video encoding job that I can do. Shut up and take my money. So for many valued reasons, there is a very good gap opened up in the market. And not to mention, Nvidia is not only pissing off public, it's also pissing off partner. Now, when EVGA backed out, and they were very public about it, they said some things that I could understand to some extent. They're not talking about power, money. I get it. They are a money company. They want to make profit. I get it. But when they said they do not share driver, that's just stupid. That's just a raw stupidity. Like, I get it if you are saying, hey, I do not want to share my pricing information. Again, it's very painful for you, but you have to understand. I get it. Driver, dude, without driver, people will blame you. Nobody's gonna say, oh, the EVGA card does not work. If the card malfunctions, people are gonna say the Nvidia card malfunctioned. So that was really stupid. And the fact that they pissed off something that big as EVGA, now you're like, oh, EVGA is small. No, no, it's big. Like, especially, and name matters. Name matters. If you piss off your partner, that means you're really bad. To piss off a partner that is making money is like, nope, I'm out. That's a very big thing. So Intel and AMD has really good room to grow. Like if they take care of this opportunity like this on very low end power, where like, dude, power supply you don't worry about it. Put it in like pre-built system. They're gonna go YOLO. AMD it's like, hey, logical board powers, logical cost. Everybody's gonna fly off the shelf. Like don't even worry about it. So they have very good opportunities here. So I have brought you down. Now I want to give you hope. Now be mindful, this is me giving you hope. So take it with a truck of salt. But here's the deal. There is some rumors that the whole reason price is stupid is simply because they want to clear out 3000 stock. Now like, why can't they delay 4000 series? Here's the deal. All the GPUs that you're seeing right now have been in works few years ago. So at this point in time, Nvidia literally may have 5000 under construction, 6000 in design. Like that's how far ahead they work. That's why like you will see roadmaps like that are multiple years ahead. It's normal. So that means every generation has a slot. They have to finish that slot properly. If they like over lap onto each other, it's really bad for the company, and it has like consequences on upcoming system. So doing this sort of stupid price hikes allows them to clear 3000 series. Now why the heck 3000 is like such an oversupply? Well, Ethereum literally moved to proof of stake. So entirety of GPU market was just got flooded with second-hand. Now like people don't want second-hand. Here's the deal. If there are that many second-hand, and if your 3000 prices are stupid, people are like, you know what? You're charging $1,000. This guy is charging $300. You know what? I'll risk it. So see, the price gradient is so high though. So the companies have to reduce their prices. It's like, I have to reduce it. Now this second-hand person, they have to really reduce it. That creates a scenario where this proof of stake change cost a lot. And not to mention, there was a crypto crash also, which did not help the matter. Let's just put it that way. So insane amount of good second-hand cards. And again, if the first-hand card is so expensive that you can't afford it, second-hand does not matter whether it's like broken or something. You will take the risk on it. If somebody's like, hey, this is a $100 GPU. Do you want to risk it? You look at the fresh price, it's like, I can't buy anything in $100. Let me take a risk. If it works, awesome. It does not work, I am out of $100. So that created a scenario where 3000 is like stockpile. They have to flush that stock. So doing that could allow them to flush the stock. And not to mention, this also gives them buffer against AMD, meaning let's say AMD actually does something properly. And the claim is that RDNA 3 will be really good simply because they are going to chiplet design. And the chiplet design is the reason why AMD went from getting ass kicked from Intel to bitch slapping Intel. So if that happens, if they really have something good, they have a throttle that Nvidia can just like, so they can become cost competitive. That's a really good system for them. So if AMD releases something really good price to performance ratio and it is affecting the market, at that point in time, Intel is like, tweet, reduce the price, done. So that's a really good vector. That's a good knob for them. And this allows them to do one thing very simply: milk as much profit as long as possible. Just milk it as much as possible. Just go YOLO on it. Now, there could be another hopeful outcome of it. It's just, this is just another 2000 series law. RTX 2000 was not that popular, nor it sold that much, but there was certain cost to that. There was like, Nvidia took a risk of releasing RTX cores. And again, sometimes it does happen. Sometimes your board partners are not cooperating. Sometimes your fabricator labs are like, you left me for Samsung. How about you remove your discounts, sir? How about, again, Putin is also like, roasting the copper prices. So all those things considered, maybe these cards are costing that much. Maybe there is just fact. It's like, bro, pound is shrinking, euro is shrinking, rupees is shrinking, everything is shrinking, and inflation is going YOLO. So there could be a chance that these cards are just so goddamn expensive. They can't do anything else. At that point in time, it's like more like, 2000 series launch. Why it will not work that well? Well, here's the deal. Not everybody has that kind of money. The reality is the people who had that kind of money, they have spent it in scalper wars. They spent it. It's done. Nobody's gonna like $5,000, go. $4,000, go. Not, you can't do that every time. Or what is really worst that I could expect, not even worst, like from a company point of view, I do get it, is that they may have a roadmap for 10 years, is that we slowly gonna remove the gamers, basically F the gamers. Now, why would a company want to do that? Because gamers come into what we call business to customer. Now, what businesses want to be is business to business, meaning they don't want to sell to you and me, because how many cards we gonna buy? 1, 2, 4, and a single server customer could be like 5,000 please. Single supercomputer 60,000 please. So that sort of customer is far more lucrative, and they do not bitch about price. They're like, bro, is this good? Yes or no? Is this reliable? Yes or no? Yes, shut up and take my money. And those are some big money. And again, they don't even have to spend money on packaging, does not have to deal with as much with board partners. So company really want to go from business to customer to business to business. Many companies have done that. There are companies that build satellites. You never know about them, but the moment you look at their income, you're like, dude, how the heck you're making that much money? Again, business to business generally makes surprisingly large amount of money. Business to customer, not that much. So think of this, with the company that makes the hardware that allows other companies to make the hardware, it's very expensive and very lucrative. So from a company point of view, it does make sense where they're like, hey, we're gonna make chips for a self-driving car, we're gonna make chips for supercomputer, we're gonna make chips for AI engines and all that jazz. Just remove the gamers. Now again, you do not want to do it day one, you want to slowly phase it out, slowly, over time. So maybe that's what's happening. Again, from a business point of view, it does make sense. They just want to just remove these people. Again, you do not have enough margin. So you have a lot of margin in server industry because again, you are selling bulk load of it, and not to mention those customers are far less price sensitive compared to customer bases. So maybe that's what's happening in there. But again, take it all the things that I'm saying with a truck of salt. So this was my presentation on basically RTX 4000 series. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.